We all know we face a major challenge in this country of deficits and debt.
We borrow too much, and we're not paying back our debts.
This is really about America's capability of having a strong and prosperous future.
The problem is a long-run problem. It is not just the deficits we have now. It's the ones we are facing as we look ahead. This is an American problem.
Probably should go away. Range of individuals.
In 19 cities, East Coast to West Coast, there are groups of anywhere between 50 and 500 people gathered at town meetings just like this one. Across the country, there are other 50 communities in which volunteer-led community conversations are joining us and following exactly the same agenda and conversations that we've created here today. So we're going to travel across the country by video technology to greet each city in which Americans are gathered.
We're ready to go. Colombia is in the house.
Y mira este grupo. Look at this group.
Hey, from Chicago.
We need to hear your ideas and what you think we should do and what we should recommend to the President and the Congress.
This is an incredible opportunity from coast to coast to come together as Americans to discuss our values and to share our beliefs about what we need to do to sustain our country's fiscal future.
Congress doesn't act unless we hear from folks.
Your voice matters. We're listening to you here in Washington.
We're about to go to work.
Want to look at which one of those options?
Please take out worksheet number 1.
We're going to ask you to vote. We're going to use the keypads for the first time. Just press the button of your choice. As you know, we went to a great deal of effort to get it to be a demographically representative sample of the whole country.
What we'd like to do now is ask you to pull out your keypads again.
It's just a quick poll question. We're going to give you a few minutes to share around the table what your own greatest concerns are about the current economy.
My grandmother, she's using Medicare and Medicaid, and her bills are still high. She still has high medical bills.
I want the healthcare system to have a chance to work. There are cuts that are involved in the healthcare reform, and I don't want to vote for any additional ones.
I believe that everyone should share in the opportunity to reduce the budget.
If everybody actually had a job that they could pay into it, we would be fine. We probably wouldn't even have this conversation if the unemployment rate was not so high.
At 2 for 5%, 2 for...
The reason that you have the tax code the way it is that you're able, as a small business person, to go ahead and take those deductions and fold it right into your business and build it up and hire in people and get everything going, and it's just one thing after another, roll forward. That's why the tax code exists, to stimulate the economy.
So I think if you just go to a simplified tax situation, a simplified tax environment, then the government can better project what its revenues are going to be, and I'm going to be better able to project what I'm going to have to pay out.
We want to hear some messages from folks around the country.
We were very passionate about maintaining Medicare and Social Security, that we have paid into those programs for years, and we believe that they should stay.
It's critical that we strike a balance between taking care of our current needs and those of the future generation.
We're compromising a little bit, but realizing that's kind of where we're going to have to do the work to make the hard decision.
We were sitting around the table with a lot of people with different political views, but we came to basically common core values. And with that understanding, we were able to tackle the problems, compromise, and come to solutions.
We need to continue this process and engage the rest of the country.
It's not I the people, it's we the people. We need to speak to you as our leaders and for you to take all of our voices.
We have a very diverse table, a lot of different opinions, but we're still respecting each other. We're probably not going to come together completely in opinion at the end of the day, but the exercise is the important thing, and that's what we're doing.
political will to use this input as if it were coming from a powerful lobbying group, because we are.
All of you have restored my confidence anyway in the ability of citizens to talk civilly about very hard issues. And I think all of us need to challenge the politicians to do as well as we have done today.
I was going to vote for one of the options, and then in discussing with the other people, the other citizens at my table, I decided to change my option on that one. So I really think that information gets you informed and you can make better decisions. So I really enjoyed that.
We were fortunate enough to have 5 young people, high school students, and I changed my opinion on a couple of the issues based on what their concerns were.
My experience today has been amazing. I am sitting at a table that is very, very, very diverse. And at first we were a little concerned that there might be a lot of controversy. But what we're finding is that everyone has the same objective in mind, to make a better country, to have a stronger future. So although we have disagreements in perhaps how we'll get there, everyone has the interest of the country and the interest of future generations in mind.
The discussion about our federal budget and our deficit is a hard discussion. What you had here today was a group of thoughtful people from all perspectives, listening to each other, expressing their perspectives, and really recognizing that this is a very hard decision for the leaders of our country to make.
The conversation works, that there is the ability of Americans to sit down and talk to each other regardless of the differences of opinion that they have, when they're not expected to be responding in a way that the media expects them, or that the parties expect them to, or want them to.
Well, the best conversation I had probably was with the woman who was next to me, and we were total polar opposites, and we still remain friends. Although I didn't know her before, but we remain friends.
Everyone has their own personal story. Everyone cares about, different things, but in the end, there are values that hold us together as a country. And on some of those things, we can find agreements where we need to be raising taxes or we need to be cutting some spending to do what's necessary so that we can provide for future generations.
Hopefully it helps begin an ongoing discussion. We've had some of our federal leaders, U.S. senators and members of the House of Representatives, our statewide leaders and our local elected officials all participate. And this is a very diverse group with a number of people who are very grassroots oriented from across the political spectrum, all represented here.
This has been an awesome, eye-opening experience for me. There were so many things that we talked about and discussed that I thought I knew but had no clue about. And the group that we were with was an awesome, very dynamic and diverse group, and we learned a lot from each other today.
I'm not so young, I'm 19, but because it is usually a typical older event, they still make ways for me to feel comfortable and I can relate and I should participate more often.
It's not an easy thing. It's not just, A or B. It's something that we all have to come to terms with. It's a group process.
Everyone gets a chance to be able to share their voice. Everyone is at a table with a facilitator, different points of view, and they have to be respected in terms of that point of view. I don't think most people have been part of a process like this. People have been coming up to me saying that, my goodness, it creates a type of thing where civic democracy is important. So I think people will walk away feeling that they are better informed about a complex topic. They were able to share because they feel that it's important. And then the great thing is that people will walk away with a report at 5, and they will see who participated, how their choices were, how people prioritized things. I think people will be impressed with how civic this was.
We need more instances like this where we can get together and communicate effectively as citizens and taxpayers and come to some kind of a consensus, because this is not my world, this is not your world, this is our world. And if we can come together as a community.
I think that it's important for exchanges like this to occur so that people feel engaged in the decisions that governments make. And I also feel that by having a voice in the decisions, we will be more ready to take on the tough decisions, to accept the tough decisions.
It was very informative. The fact that they did a general overview, I really appreciated, and then I really liked having the people's opinions from our table and being able to hear that because we had such a diverse age range and demographic group.
I do consider today a complete success.